Welcome back to the BludgeBowl Immortality Tournament. We started with 16 players and now we're down to 8. By the end of today's back-to-back semifinal matches, we will find out who will be fighting for the championship in tomorrow's final. Competing in our first semifinal match are, from Game 1, Anjay. A really nice gut check for Anjay there to win the Machinations by 1 sword. Does look like Beast is going to win this conflict. He's about to win Siege of Carthag, going up to 6. Wow. Picks up Tleilaxu Master. Plans within plans. Shadowy Bargain. Gruesome Sacrifice, getting up to 12 victory points. There's the plans within plans for Beast. And actually gets to 13. Anjay with the win from Game 2 to Kobe. Paul picks up Dissecting Kit and Scientific Breakthrough, does take the Imperium Ceremony, combos pretty nicely with that Go Bankers. Can he maintain it and just keep buying Spice Must Flows? Takobi does early reveal, pick up the Spice Must Flow. The double Scarabs for an Intrigue card. Oh, Breakthrough to draw the Dissecting Kit, which is going to get him the Tleilaxu point. Are you kidding me with these intrigues? Corner of the Market is worth 2. Takobi comes in second from Game 3. Friachi burns the double cross right now. Friachi gonna win a victory point, does pick up the Scientific Breakthrough, does play the reinforcements, gonna take that Machinations, which is really good considering that plans within plans pickup. Breakthrough gets a victory point, and it is the Hardy Warriors for Friachi. Picks up a Spice Must Flow for himself. Beast wins battle for Carthag. Friachi taking 2 victory points, winning first place in this round 1 match from Game 4. Honeybee. If you pick Helena because there's some tasty card in the row, you will not draw your ring. Pretty happy to see that Contaminator, I think. Is it Bankers? It's Bankers. Hardy Warriors with the Contaminator moving up towards the Freeman Alliance. Spice Must Flow for Helena. Did get the Clandestine meeting with the Stitched Horror to pick up that Bene Gesserit point. That Corner of the Market gonna put Helena in a good position for second place. 21 Spice. Honeybee, 29, getting second place. This is the semi-final match. We've got Anjay, Friachi, Takobi, and Honeybee 29 here. 2 of these players will move on to the final. Let's take a look at the Imperium row. Cheney, Fadakan Death Commando, Space Travel Smuggler's Thopter, and Tleilaxu Master. Chair Dog, Unnatural Reflexes here in the Tleilaxu row. Beast has been picked first, Memnon has been picked second, and Helena has been picked third. Helena, I'm assuming, has been picked because of that Tleilaxu Master. Probably hasn't been picked for the Death Commando, but you never know. So very excited for this game. This is Anjay's second Beast game in a row. Took first place in Game 1 in the first round with Beast. Friachi also played Beast in Game 1, now switching it over to Memnon. We've got Honeybee, who played Helena in the first round, Takobi, who played Paul in the first round, so they have swapped leaders for this game. Anjay and Friachi won first place in round 1. Honeybee and Takobi won second place in round 1. This game is on, and I'm so excited. Imperial Basin is the first play from Honeybee. Getting that research, getting that spice, and getting some troops in. Interesting. It's interesting not to go Haga Basin because of Selmaland, just going for the single spice, saving the water perhaps for a Hardy Warriors, or just going for the future. And Helena does get the ring. So never mind that rule about if you're Helena and you pick your ring for a card in the row, you know, you're not going to get your ring. I guess that happens maybe when it's me, or when it's you, or when it's the player I'm observing. But since I'm not observing Takobi, that managed to happen. I have had a chat box over here in the game to show what the players have been saying, but it's sort of like ugly, and I've kind of turned it off here, but I'll put it back on for now since the players are chatting a little bit at the moment. But yeah, Friachi says, I didn't pick Helena because I was certain Tleilaxu Master would get nuked instantly. And Takobi says it would have if I hadn't gotten Helena. Okay, so my man Memnon here, I mean, that works out well. That I've chosen to observe. Actually, it was a die roll to decide who I was going to spectate. All of these players were players that I spectated in round 1, sort of coincidentally here. And so I just rolled a d4, well, digitally, to decide who would be spectated, and Friachi was the one, and it turns out it was Kismet, because my man Memnon here is the player we are observing. Anjay now taking his first agent move of the semifinals. And sends the ring to Hagabasin. So Beast's going to be well set up here for an early Swordmaster. We'll see if he decides to send the second agent straight to Selma Lange or not. We've got a victory point and Solari here in the conflict. Thank you for being here for this live premiere or for watching the video after the fact. If you are watching the video after the fact, I suggest you turn on the live chat replay. If you scroll down below the video a little bit, there's a button, live chat replay, and that will show you the live chat from when this game aired live, and you can follow along and get more reactions, and it feels a bit more like a live event. So I definitely suggest watching that way. The games are pre-recorded to maintain tournament integrity, and so I can, show you what this player has and talk about their cards and everything without kind of messing with the tournament. But we're here watching it live together, which is super exciting. Okay, so Helena has gone to Carthag and Hardy Warriors. Okay, so definitely going to be able to take this conflict with that. Deploys 5 troops to make sure. And Memnon goes to Secrets. Yeah, this is something that I've definitely learned about Friachi, is Friachi heavily values intrigue cards. And so we noticed that in round 1 as well, playing to Secrets, playing to Carthag, valuing Secrets over a lot of the other faction spots, which is interesting. And the economic positioning, I mean, so that's potentially a victory point. That play to Secrets potentially is a victory point right there. Or also, options for generating Solari if that's the way it has to go. And Anjay's Beast here with the final agent of the game. Is it going to be a Selma Lange? I mean, he's getting 2 Solari in the conflict already, so he's pretty well set up there. Okay, Diplomacy to Fold Space. Yeah, doesn't need the wealth necessarily. And so going to Fold Space here just to get the faction influence rolling a little bit. It's not about unlocking interstellar shipping, because there is no shipping without Rise of Ix. But Fold Space is still good in a different way, because it gets you a faction influence, but then it gives you a card that's going to get you more faction influence later. And faction influence is, you're primarily going to get it from playing your agents to these spaces, as opposed to, getting free bumps from shipping or from techs or whatever. The cards here, I mean, space travel is very good, but Paul decides to go for the Fidakan Death Commando, thematically appropriate. Plan Coupling, a really nice card, potentially the best card now available, other than obviously Tleilaxu Master, which Takobi happily picks up. So we're going to give a round of applause there for the successful Helena pick, because I love Helena, and it's just very sad to get the fail on the ring. If that's going to happen, Friachi picks up an Arrakis Liaison. Friachi revealing 2 experimentations, not picking up the Chair Dog. Beast picks up Plan Coupling here. And Kwisatz Haderach is revealed. No more ring for Helena. We'll see if anyone manages to get this. It's very hard for this kind of card to get picked up with the existence of nukes, which is one of the main reasons I hate nukes. It really disincentivizes anybody from trying to even bother picking up a card like this, because in order to do it, you really have to kind of dedicate, 1 or 2 rounds even to making that happen, deciding to prioritize High Council seat, research station, selective breeding, and then somebody just nukes, and it's just like, well, why did I even do that? All right, so Helena Hazlitt to the Tleilaxu Master is going to want to try to get, some trashing or some card draw happening. 0 resources, though. No spice, no Solari, no water, so going to be a little bit before Swordmaster is available, but Takobi did win that victory point, so is off to a lead there. Has Seek Allies, Experimentation, a couple of daggers, and a convincing argument in hand. Sends the Seek Allies to Wealth, picking up a couple of Solari that way. And Friachi with a ring to play. I mean, the Great Flat is decent, but doesn't have another card to get to Summelange. And what do you know? Another Intrigue card picked up by Friachi, and it's a Secret of the Sisterhood. Very valuable. Throws in 2 troops into Siege of Carthag. Summelange for Anjay. Sells it all, gets up to 11. Could have, no, had to sell it all, right? No, could have sold just 2 if he had wanted to. But I like just selling it all here. Efficiency of agent actions. Just get all that Solari now. You're going to be able to use 11 Solari over the course of the game for sure. Swordmaster, you know, a Mentat. At some point, you might want High Council or Rally Troops. Okay, there's that Death Commando already getting some trashing done. Trashes a dagger out of hand, I think. Goes to secure contract, so set up for a Swordmaster next round, presumably. Beast will get it this round. Paul should be able to get it next round. Here comes Arakeen for Memnon. Going to pick up a Spice from the Signet Ring. Reshuffle and draw. And draws an Experimentation. So could pick up the Unnatural Reflexes, but is nowhere on the research track, so that's kind of a dead card. At least initially. There's the Swordmaster for Beast. Memnon, by the way, committing for Siege of Carthag. Should have no trouble picking that up. Beast the only one with a garrison. 1 agent left. Signet Ring in the discard pile. No Carthag available, so that's a pretty much guaranteed win there for Memnon. Paul sends the Seek Allies to Fold Space. Interesting to see the different valuations here, right? Beast and Paul, so I should say Anjay and Honeybee valuing the Fold Space over the Secrets. Friachi valuing the Secrets over the Fold Space. Liaison for Helena, and with 5 Persuasion on Friachi here, I expect to see a nuke. I don't think Cheney is going to be considered good enough. And there it is. All right, Test of Humanity. Probably going to be the pickup. Also, maybe with a voice. Lots of Bene Gesserit action on the row there with a space travel. It is Test of Humanity. And the voice. Gunthopter, new card, and Imperial Spy, new card. Okay. That's the first nuke of the game. So that Test of Humanity plus the Secrets of the Sisterhood, plus already having a Bene Gesserit alliance, I think Friachi's probably going to be able to pick up that Bene Gesserit alliance by the end of this game. All right, there's a Mentat for Anjay. So that extra Solari from the Summelange already being spent. Paul reveals 3, probably going to be a sister. Could be a space travel. I think both very good. Carry all. All right, still suits for Beast. So that was that a reshuffle just now in the Mentat? I'm not sure. Picks up a water, gets Freeman Influence, throws in 1 troop, which is going to be worth 1 spice, and grabs the space travel. Blank Slate, typically not a very in-demand card. All right, so it is going to be Friachi winning Siege of Carthag here in round 2, picking up a victory point, taking control of Carthag, which is, you know, pretty good news for Friachi, who loves going to Carthag as it is. That Solari drip could help feed this economic positioning. Of course, Memnon still needs Solari for lots of other reasons. Hey, Dirk Duels, thank you for subscribing while this game is being played. But yeah, Memnon still needs a lot of Solari, so we'll see what he decides to do. You know, is it going to be a sell Melange this round? Helena also could sell Melange. Does he hold on to it for a Hayliner? Looking at 4 specimens. Would be surprised to see that Chair Dog picked up. Cloak and Dagger is the round 3 conflict influence of your choice, along with intrigue cards, and spice available to the other players. Honeybee set up for Swordmaster this round, but theoretically could wait, but there is a voice on Friachi. Now, we know that it's not in hand, but Paul doesn't know that. So we'll see if that's taken into account. We'll see if it ends up being Swordmaster with Agent 1, or if he decides to hold off and do something else first, hoping not to get voiced off of it. Signaling with planned coupling to Haga Basin for Anjay. That's interesting. Forgoing the Bene Gesserit influence there. Valuing the 3 spice pickup, as well as the ability to deploy troops immediately. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious about that. We'll see what his other agents are. But yeah, skipping the Bene Gesserit influence with the planned coupling there seems a little odd to me. But, you know, I don't have a view of exactly what Anjay is dealing with here. So we'll see. I'll be interested to see how the rest of the round plays out. Just really valuing the spice, maybe. I wonder if we're going to see a Conspire or maybe even another Sel Melange. Helena has her ring, so she nuked right now to see if she could find a good target. There's a Shifting Allegiances, which is a pretty good target. I mean, I'm saying she has her ring because of that nuke. You know, nuking before your first agent turn as Helena pretty much means I'm about to play my ring and I want to try to find something good with it. These are both good targets. Okay, says, you know what? I don't need to play my ring, I guess. But yeah, because I think potentially if there had been like a more expensive card, then potentially we could have seen ring played to like Arakeen. But because the only card she might care about here, I would think, is Shifting Allegiances or Bene Gesserit Sister, then that allows Takobe to do things in a different order. That's my assumption based on what I'm seeing here. Okay, now, does Friachi want to Hayliner this? No. Goes to Secrets. Again, just piling up the intrigues here. Vicious Talons picked up. Worth 2 combat strength at the moment. Other players having to make a choice now. Discard a card or lose a troop. Helena has no choice. Each opponent chooses discard a card or lose a deployed troop, right? Has to be a deployed one. So, you know, Helena has no troops of any kind, so she's forced to discard. Beast could lose one of these 2 in the conflict, but decides to drop a convincing argument. Paul discarding a reconnaissance. Takobe discarding a dagger. You see, I'm flipping back and forth between using the leader name and the player's name. I want to use both because obviously using the leader name is, I think, clearer to follow the game. But like, these are actual players competing in a tournament, so I want to use their names in the game here as well. Hopefully it doesn't get confusing. All right, Beast goes to Still Suits again. So first to unlock Siege Tabor. Doesn't deploy any more troops, feeling confident enough with that other agent to potentially add more in by going to Siege Tabor, for example. There's the Swordmaster for Honeybee, and Takobe does have that Signet Ring and does go to sell Melange. Now, question is, does Helena have the influence to be able to pay for the Shifting Allegiances? It looks like it. It could be a denial pick. Oh, a Gurney Halleck shows up. All right, 3 Persuasion. That's going to be a sister. I have to imagine here for Friachi. Reclaims Forces, not interested in the Chair Dog or the Unnatural Reflexes. Chair Dog is decent with the Bene Gesserit sister, with the Test of Humanity, but it's not great. And now there's a Stilgar. Okay, so suddenly we've got some heavy hitters showing up in the Imperium row here, and Helena's Ring is gone. No Tleilaxu Master. Wait. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. She hasn't revealed yet. Okay, Beast does get more troops in. With a Hardy Warriors play. So Beast now on the way to the Freeman Alliance. If he wins this conflict, he gets it. Selective Breeding from Honeybee. Getting rid of one of those pesky daggers. But probably not going to have enough persuasion to really pick up anything of note. Ah, okay, the Tleilaxu Master is there. So nice to get that, because sometimes you pick up a Tleilaxu Master early and then you don't see it for a while. So getting that revealed and picks up the Unnatural Reflexes. It goes very well with the Tleilaxu Master. And of course, Stitch Horror comes up next. Who is set up for that? Friachi just burned his specimens. Theoretically, Beast or Paul could have an experimentation in hand to be able to pick that up. Huge pickup here if you can get it. In round 3, you might have like 2, maybe 3 chances to use it. Takobe already across the halfway mark thanks to that Tleilaxu Master, so the Unnatural Reflex is going to be online as soon as it's drawn, which helps cycle through that deck to find the Master even more. Anjay reveals 2. Could it be Shadout Mapes? No, it's an Arrakis Liaison. And does get the Stitched Horror. That's a really big pickup. Industrial Espionage, the next card in the row. 4 Persuasion for Paul. Make that 6. Okay, it goes for the Stilgar, which, I mean, either one would have been thematically very appropriate. Okay, goes for the Stilgar over the Gurney with 6 Persuasion. Could have picked up either one. But I do like it. I mean, Gurney is more impactful. I mean, 2 troops and draw a card. However, Honeybee desperately needs Freeman influence, so the Stilgar can be quite helpful there. Machinations is the next conflict. Speaking of influence. Friachi's still sitting on this 6 spice. Doesn't have a way to get to Hayliner. Is gonna want to play... I think it's probably going to be a Summerland Swordmaster this round. And I wouldn't be... Well, I don't know. We'll see how much spice gets sold. Considering Memnon is going to want a High Council seat, I could see 5 spice being sold here. But it is also nice to keep a couple of spice for a selected breeding when you've got these Bene Gesserit cards, so we'll see how that goes. Memnon, Friachi, I should say, also is going to want as much Solari as possible this game due to this economic positioning. Takobe also could theoretically get voiced off of Swordmaster this round. If Helena doesn't go Swordmaster now, Friachi can voice Summelange, block Swordmaster for Takobe. I mean, I guess she could Mentat to get back in if she has 2 green cards in hand. But it would be funny to see if it works. I would definitely try it. Okay, let's see. So Takobe goes to Still Suits. Friachi, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? Oh, you gotta try it, right? Yes! Okay, how much spice gets sold here? Okay, does keep 2 back. Blocks Swordmaster with the voice. All right, let's see if Takobe is able to Mentat out of that. Oh, that's hilarious. So Helena's Eyes Everywhere. Enemy agents don't block your agents at Lancerado city spaces, but that doesn't help you get through the voice. So I think... How's Friachi going to want to play the rest of this round? Is it going to be Dagger to Swordmaster or Ring to Swordmaster and then hope to play the Experimentation? Because research, you know, research is needed. Beast goes to Selective Breathing, gets rid of a Dagger. Paul goes to Wealth, picks up a couple of Solari, plays a Fold Space there to draw more. Of course, Paul knows what the top card of the deck is, so knew what was coming off that Fold Space. Helena plays a Refocus, perhaps needing to find a Dagger to get to Mentat, so it looks like that is going to work out. But it was definitely worth a shot from Friachi, and, you know, it does burn resources here. Potentially burning that Intrigue card, potentially burning just a couple of Solari off of Helena. It was definitely worth a shot. Especially because, you know, Helena's the one with the Tleilaxu Master, so if you can slow her down a little bit. Also, it's just hilarious. I mean, number one, it's hilarious. Only a single troop here in the conflict at the moment. All right, let's do a poll here. Bludgeon, you help me out, dude. Make a poll in the chat. Who do you think is going to win this game here as we are sitting in round 4? Who is going to come out on top? Is it Anjay on Beast, Honeybee on Paul, Takobe on Helena, or Friachi on Memnon? You've got about 1 or 2 minutes to vote in that poll. And if you are watching the video after the fact, you can see the results of that poll in the chat. Okay, Paul went to Haga Basin. How are we doing here? No one has made a ton of progress on the Tleilaxu track. All right, Helena does get to Swordmaster, sending a liaison with the Unnatural Reflexes. Another Intrigue picked up for Friachi, and this time it's Harvest Cells. Okay, well, you can always burn that Secret of the Sisterhood, and indeed, that is what happens. 3 combat intrigues / endgame intrigue. Okay, gets 2 troops in as well on Carthag, so he's going to be able to use the Harvest Cells this round. Although, I mean, if you somehow end up winning this conflict, which it honestly looks like he might be able to do. Beast gets in with a troop, has 2 intrigue cards, has spice to pay for a private army, or an allied armada, I suppose. Paul also, same deal, 3 intrigues, 3 spice. Takobe has an agent left, could get in here. You know, you'd definitely rather... Oh, double cross on who? On Friachi. Oh, that really hurts. Ooh. That really hurts. That means A, you're not winning the conflict, and B, you can't use your harvest cells, and you don't have any troops to fuel it for the future. There's a nuke from Honeybee. Peter DeVries picked up for Paul. And we've got some other good stuff here. But Penny Tlaylax's Researcher would be a great pickup for Helena. Smuggler's Thopter, Spice Hunter, Gene Manipulation. Paul closing in on that Tlaylaxu Spice. Yeah, that's a painful one. That's a painful one for Friachi. Oh, double cross. What a great intrigue card. I think that might be... I don't know, it's up there. I haven't done like an intrigue card ranking. That might be an idea for a video. But I think it might be my favorite one, just because it's like one of the funniest... It's just one of the funniest things you can do, is just like ruin someone's plans by popping their troop out. Helena sneaks to Carthag, picks up a second intrigue. Does she get in here? Probably not, right? No. Do you take the G manipulation? Okay, he takes it. I think it's like, it's a bit of a bubble play, but you've got a pretty decent chance of actually getting the spice combo, which is very rare. I can't remember the last time I've actually seen anyone do it. Oh, power play picked up by Takobe. Things just keep getting better. Reverend Mother now in the row. Let's see if Friachi's able to get his hands on that. The victory points right now, Anjay with 4, Honeybee with 1, Takobe with 3, and Friachi with 3. Reminder, the top 2 from this game will move on to the final of the BludgeBowl Immortality Tournament. Okay, Paul looking good here because of that reveal of swords. The Fidakan Death Commando combined with the Stilgar was a 6-sword reveal for Paul. So that Stilgar, I mean, you know, we were looking at Stilgar versus Gurney Halleck. I said Gurney Halleck was more impactful. Okay. So Friachi burning the intrigue just to get ahead of Beast here to get the Solari for himself. So -2 Solari for Beast, +2 Solari for Memnon. I think it's a good, honestly, I do think it's a good play, because that 2 swords, you're going to have a hard time finding a place for that to, you know, do anything. It's going to be a while before it's ever worth 4 swords. And meanwhile, your hand is just being clogged with intrigue. So I think that's a smart play by Friachi to just use it, get some benefit out of it right now, get it out of your hand. And he can use the Solari. Every Solari there is important for Friachi. Fold space for Honeybee. 1 away from the Guild Alliance. Desert Power is the conflict. No garrisons aside from 1 troop in Helena's garrison. Victory point on the line. The board pretty cleaned of spice here. 1 little bonus spice sitting on the Great Flat, and that is it. Friachi's got Signet Ring, Experimentation, and Reconnaissance. It might be time to look at High Council, but you do still have to think about the Solari for this. But a Cell Melange could get you there later. And I mean, you are going to want your High Council seat, so the sooner the better, really. Other than the fact, you know, the one good thing about waiting on High Council for Memnon is you can use it to get whichever alliance or whichever faction influence you need at that point. Okay, Takobi does ring off the Bene Tleilax Researcher, which is going to be very good. Just continue to accelerate that research track, but then when you are at the end of the track, it's worth 3 persuasion on reveal. Going to help you pick up some spice must flows to finish off the game strong. Throne Room Politics in the Imperium row, very good card. You know, it's round 5, so it's not going to be a major impact, but it still could help somebody, you know, finish off either Emperor or Bene Gesserit in terms of picking up a victory point. Friachi deciding what to do here. If he does want High Council, he doesn't have to do it immediately. No one else has the Solari to jump in front of him there. Probably wants to get that experimentation played. Does he just go to secure contract? Just pile up even more Solari? Okay, or goes to Summerlands. Just goes right there right now. Does he sell all 3? Just sells 2. Okay. It's an interesting decision. Wanting to hang on to some spice. The Signet Ring is going to get him up to 2 spice. Going to allow him to selective breeding when he draws one of these Bene Gesserit cards. So I think that does make sense. Has a calculated higher here as well. But not going to be using that just yet. I guess this was picked up off of that conflict in round 4. All right, Beast hits selective breeding. Gets rid of, I believe that's his second dagger. Yep. Okay. Gets the Bene Gesserit influence off of that planned coupling. Gets a couple of troops into the garrison. And yeah, I mean, there's a victory point here on the line. A Hardy Warriors could do the trick. Paul plays Stilgar to Still Suits. So water being collected, research station available, or Great Flat. Not going to have a big sword reveal this time for Honeybee Takobi. Second agent here of round 5. Has 2 water, 3 intrigue cards, 2 troops in the garrison. Beast does not have the ring because it was already used. So, I mean, a Hardy Warriors probably wins this, depending on intrigues. And Takobi decides to go to Great Flat. Goes for the Specimen, which makes sense. It makes sense because you know, yes, as Helena, you're going to get to the end of the research track, but it's not necessarily easy to get to the end of the Tleilaxu track even then, because there's only so many scarabs available here. So you want to pick up every specimen you can along the way. Paul, I don't know if he's going to be able to get there to pick up this spice just yet. I don't think we've seen the Stitched Horror come out yet from Beast. Friachi with some decisions to make. Could Mentat if you really want to. I mean, you've got a lot of good cards coming up later, so that could be something you might do. I do think High Council would be a good idea to pick up. I mean, does he just go to Carthag? Okay, rally troops. All right. I wasn't thinking about the rally troops, but that's what happens. So Friachi has a garrison here and now is kind of a threat to win this conflict. I mean, a Hardy Warriors from Beast or Helena, I think will take it. But if that doesn't happen, then Friachi could win it at Carthag or Arakeen. Is looking for an opportunity as well to harvest cells. So is probably going to throw in, 2 or 3 troops regardless if he gets the chance, though. because it's only Karthag and Arakeen that he can play to. And there goes Arakeen with the Stitched Horror grafted to Experimentation from Beast. Is Karthag still going to be there? Probably not. So if Karthag does get taken, then I would expect to see a High Council pick up with the Liaison. It could be a Mentat. Try to find, you know, one of these Bene Gesserit cards or the Diplomacy. Hello, Javo. Thank you for subscribing. Or Havo. Javo. Yavo. Yavo. Beast picking up water, and the Scarab from the Stitched Horror getting another Intrigue card. Intrigue cards everywhere. 3 on Beast, 2 on Paul, 3 on Helena, 3 on Memnon. Everybody packing right now. And Honeybee's deciding what to do with the final agent here for round 5. And it's Bene Gesserit's sister to Secrets, picking up that victory point from the Bene Gesserit track and filling up on intrigues. Everybody full. It's an intriguing semifinal here, and it really could go any which way. Anjay currently in the victory point lead with 5. Honeybee coming up with 4, and then Takobi and Friachi with 3. Beast has put 3 troops into this conflict. Karthag's still available. Helena sneaks to Arakeen, which does leave Karthag open for Memnon. So I would be surprised if Friachi doesn't do it. For a number of reasons. One, you know, Friachi loves intrigue cards. 2, gets another Solari. 3, allows him to commit troops here, which isn't going to win the conflict, I don't think, but will allow him to get this Harvest Cells off. Yeah, there it is. Now, do you throw in... Oh, it pulls a Master Tactician. Do you throw in 3 and see if you can win? I think so. How many... I need like an intrigue card tracker on Friachi. How many intrigue cards has he gone through so far? He's played... How many has he played? 1, 2. He's played 2. So that's his 6th intrigue card this game. I'd have to go back and check how many he went through in round 1. Beast up to 6 victory points now. And Beast and Paul just 1 step away from the Tleilaxu point. They're both at the same point on the research track as well. They both have the same number of specimens. It's going to be intense to see who can get that. Well, I expect to see Friachi try to win the conflict, and then if it doesn't work, you Harvest Cells. Long Reach now in the row. Not a bad one for Chair Dog. It's a little bit late, but we'll see if anybody gives it a try. Helena reveals the Tleilaxu Master with 7 Persuasion. Picks up a Scarab. She's now 1 away from the Spice there. Where does she go now? For the trash, for the intrigue, trade, and card draw? She might want to head towards the double Scarab. Okay, and it looks like that is what's going to happen. Give herself the flexibility there. She could do that with a Sell Melange. An experimentation to Sell Melange could get that done. Trashes a Recon. And has a Charisma, so that's a Spice Must Flow. Okay. Okay, big round for Takobi there, getting up to 4 victory points. Interesting game. This is a really interesting game. Fun selection of leaders. Interesting kind of cards and stuff being picked up across each player. You know, I think everybody kind of has something interesting going on. Friachi probably the one who doesn't have like a particular bomb card, right? I mean, the Test of Humanity is nice, but it's not quite on the level of like a Stilgar or a Tleilaxu Master, for sure. For Persuasion, I mean, I think you take the Throne Room Politics, right? Needs Emperor Influence. Yeah. And there's another voice. But does have like the Bene Gesserit thing going on. We'll see if he can get the G manipulation to combo. It's not a big deal. It'd be kind of fun to see it. There's the Master Tactician. All right, let's see if Beast has a response. 3 intrigue cards, only 1 spice though. So there's no private army, no allied armada coming out here from Beast. Appears to be considering it. So does that mean he has a Master Tactician and is thinking about tying it up? Or is it just misdirection? It is a Master Tactician. Now, does Friachi let this go to a tie to keep the victory point away from Beast, or does he harvest cells? All right. All right. So, it ends up being a tie. Friachi says that isn't worth it. We get off this combat screen. Oh, my mistake. The harvest. Okay, I always get those intrigues confused. I was thinking of the gruesome sacrifice. Harvest cells is the end of the conflict, not sacrificing in the conflict. I apologize to everybody who has been telling me that in the chat, including you, Bludgeon. But you were here. You remember this, so you even you remember me saying this to you. Because that was you that said it. All right. Well, that was a tough situation there. Let's do a poll in the chat. Was it worth it? If you were Beast, would you play your Master Tactician there to deny Friachi the victory point? Okay, so there it is. Helena gets the double scarabs, and Helena ends up being the one to pick up that Tleilaxu spice. Paul was sitting right there. He had a lead, but couldn't quite get over the hump. And I mean, you know, when you're dealing with Tleilaxu Master, it's not a big surprise. Friachi here has 3 Bene Gesserit cards. So starts off with Test of Humanity to Selective Breeding. Going to pick up the Bene Gesserit Alliance as well as an Intrigue card. Going to force everybody to discard. Probably going to trash that Reconnaissance from the discard pile, I would guess. Maybe the Dagger from hand. Picks up a Windfall, which is really not bad. That's another Intrigue. That's Intrigue number 7, I think, for Friachi this game. Is going to be able to potentially combo the G Manipulation, getting some extra spice, which will feel pretty good. Did trash the Reconnaissance, has double daggers in hand now with an experimentation. Beast discards Fold Space. Everybody deciding what to discard. No one has the option to get rid of a deployed troop because there are no troops deployed. Paul discards Reconnaissance. Going back to the question of, was it worth it for Anjay to do that? It's hard to say without knowing what Anjay's other 2 intrigues are, but he was sitting at 3 intrigues. And, you know, the Master Tactician, it's clogging up your hand, and it's an okay combat intrigue, but, you know, it might be hard to find another time to use it. And so playing an intrigue to delete a victory point from an opponent, like, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's not as good as getting a victory point for yourself. But, you know, like I said, I can't say for sure whether I think it was a good move or not without knowing the other intrigues, without knowing what else Anjay has going on. But I think it's potentially a good play. The argument against it is you know, it's essentially you're helping out Honeybee and Takobi there, right? Because you've got Beast and Memnon kind of hurting each other, right? Beast deleting a victory point from Memnon, that's good for these two players. Kind of wasting an intrigue card, that's good for these two players. But generally speaking, you know, taking a victory point away from an opponent is a good thing. If you just had an intrigue card that did that, you know, play an intrigue, prevent an opponent from gaining a victory point, I think you'd feel that was a pretty good intrigue card. All right, Beast gets over the line there. That's the second stitched horror play of the game. Chooses water once again. Hog a Basin for Paul, getting up to 6 spice, potentially setting up for around 7. Hayliner doesn't have a garrison at the moment, doesn't have Solari to rally troops. Plays the Disguised Bureaucrat right now to take the Guild Alliance. Wait, no, just for spice. Okay, that is a move that I'm confused by. Why do it? Why do it? You're not over on intrigues. You're safe with 3. Why burn that? All right, well, here's the High Council for Friachi finally. And what do you go with? I mean, you need Emperor influence, you need Guild influence, you need Freeman influence. I think Helena still has a power play in the deck somewhere, but not threatening Bene Gesserit. Where would you take influence here? Bludgeon, can you do a poll? Where would you take it if you're Memnon? All right, maybe it's too late. We already saw the result. Take Guild influence. Plays the calculated higher to just take the Mentat, which I think is reasonable because you do want to play the experimentation if you can. And do you play the G manipulation? I think so. I think you play it over the sister at this point. I mean, the other thing is he could get a Spice Must Flow. You could have held on to that, just early revealed, taken your 2 persuasion here, picked up a Spice Must Flow. I don't think that's crazy. I'll be interested to see if he tries to go for a long reach, because that could I mean, he's got lots of Bene Gesserit cards to make that work, and it could really help him pick up a couple of points. If he can find it, if the game goes long enough. We are playing to 11. It's round 7 coming up, so we've got, you know... I'd be surprised if this game ends round 7, but you never know. So you might have a chance to get that to work. Memnon's about to reshuffle. Like, that could be huge. But it also could, you know, you might just not draw it. Whereas a Spice Must Flow is a point. But playing the G manipulation would get 2 spice. You'd be able to trash that dagger, which would help your chances of getting good stuff later. Okay, here comes the shifting allegiances. I think this is the first time we're seeing it actually use this game. Jacoby drops with Freeman, jumps up with Emperor, takes that alliance, recruiting a couple of troops. And does anything get deployed here, or is it saved up for the future rounds? I mean, it's not exactly a super impactful conflict to win. The Reverend Mother also has to be a little bit tempting for Friachi. You know, the potential of comboing Test of Humanity with the Reverend Mother, making everybody discard 3 cards, like, it'd be pretty funny. Okay, it is G manipulation to Arakeen, which draws the Voice, so could still get a Spice Must Flow. Yeah, trashed a dagger there. This is going to be interesting. Oh, it's a nuke. Whoa. Imperium Ceremony, 2 power plays, Assassination Mission, and Dissecting Kit. Beast with 5 persuasion there. Well, I mean, the power play is okay. He's missing 1 Emperor point. Other than that, he'd have to try to steal an alliance. I mean, it's possible. Decides to just pick up the Dissecting Kit. Is he going to get across the line there? I mean, maybe. Maybe he could get this double Scarab thing to work with like a Selmelange play. Dissecting Kit for the other one. Goes for a Liaison. Lisan Al-Gabe, the new card in the row. Well, I think at this point, if you're Memnon, you probably send your dagger to... I mean, I don't think you rally troops, right? I think at this point you're trying to save up for economic positioning. It's tough, though, because if you're going to have a chance in this game, you might need to win a level 3 conflict. So rally troops could be a thing. Paul is set up for Hayliner, but doesn't have a garrison. Otherwise, it could just be Hall of Oratory, get 1 more troop. Wait, what? Reveals shift. Does she have 2 shifting allegiances? Oh, chair dog. I didn't notice Helena picked up the chair dog. I was like, wait, she played the shifting allegiances, right? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Takobe. I didn't call out the chair dog pickup. I mean, Tleilaxu Master does love to sit in a chair dog. So I can see that. Picked up a liaison there. All right. Okay, it is going to be the rally troops. Yeah, so Friachi deciding that these late game conflicts are going to be critical to having a chance to win. I expect it's going to be a Spice Must Flow pickup here, taking the persuasion from the sister. And indeed, that is what's happening. Gets up to 5. Beast in the lead with 7. Helena next up with 6. Paul and Memnon both with 5. Beast going to win this sort through the chaos, picking up the Mentat for next round, getting an intrigue and a couple of Solari. So back up to 3 intrigues there for Beast. Two Solari each for the Torvalds. And it's a battle for Carthag. Friachi gets the defensive troop. Okay, I mean, Hardy Warriors looks pretty good. You get your Freeman influence, you commit hard here. Paul could Hayliner, but you could still fill up the garrison, or fill up the battlefield with your troops from your garrison, I guess I should say. Okay, but goes to... Oh, well, this is even better. This is even better. You voice... Yeah, you pick up the Spice from Great Flat, you block Hayliner with the voice, and you're set to hit that yourself. So that's pretty much going to guarantee you the win on this conflict. So nicely done there for Friachi. All right, so that's that plan. That's going to get you your guild point, getting you to 6, 7, 8. Probably try to play the throne room politics to get closer to an emperor point. I don't think Spice Must Flow is really going to happen this round. An experimentation play gets you this. So it could be getting up to 9 points right now. Well, actually, even just revealing it, I guess, would do it. You could pick up... Well, you can either pick up the subject, or you can just reclaim forces. So that point going to be available for Friachi, getting to 6, 8, 9... Not sure if this is going to be gettable because the spice is obviously being spent here. A research station... A research station could be a good play as well. So let's just look at the persuasion here. Paul picks up High Council. If Diplomacy goes to to Hayliner, you go down to 5. If you go to Research Station, you go down to 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I don't know if Spice Must Flow is doable. All right, here's the Unnatural Reflexes for Takobe with the Power Play going to Selective Breeding. So that's a draw 4. That's a draw 4. Pretty strong. Picks up the victory point there, getting up to 7. Probably going to be a Spice Must Flow for 8. Yeah, is she going to be able to get to the end of here? I don't know. There's the Hayliner for Friachi. Throws in the troops. Needs to win this conflict to have a chance in this game. This is absolutely crucial. I mean, I think it's going to happen. I don't see anybody beating that. Anji here looking for an Emperor point. Beyond that, maybe he wants to set up for the next conflict. So a rally troops could happen here. Has that Tleilaxu point is probably not. I mean, has the 7 Solari actually. So an experimentation could be the double Scarab for another intrigue, and then just needs to reclaim forces for 1 more or reveal the dissecting kit, which was picked up earlier in the discard pile right now along with the Stitched Horse. So we'd need another round if he can't reclaim. Well, or pick up the subject. The subject might be a hot commodity here. Paul could use it. Honeybee been sitting at this spot on the Tleilaxu track for what feels like 4 rounds. Beast goes to Research Station. Okay, doesn't go down here, goes up. Goes for the single Scarab, saving the Solari for something else. Could it be a Chom Shares in hand? Could it be just wanting to save up for rally troops? But that is notable. Had the option here for the double Scarab, just chose 1, perhaps confident that he'll be able to reclaim for 1, and then hopefully find another one next round with either the Stitched Horror or the Dissecting Kit. Paul finds the Emperor point there, getting up to 6. And Takobe sends Tleilaxu Master to High Council with Chair Dog. Is it going to be Imperium Ceremony sent to hand? No, it's Power Play. Power Play sent to hand. Okay. You got to be a little bit worried if you're Memnon. No. Takobe's green. So the Power Play, I mean, that could be a point on Fold Space or a point on Still Suits. Either way, that is a point. So that would get Helena up to 8. A Spice Must Flow would be 9. Carthag once again for Friachi and finds a private army. So, I mean, tough luck about not being able to play the throne room politics, but at least you can protect here. Because otherwise, honestly, Takobe might be tempted to send the Power Play to Secrets. So that could be... that little bump there could actually be helpful. Down to Anjay, 2 agents left here. Ring to Arakeen. Okay, that's a few troops. I mean, there's definitely spies available here. We'll see if he throws them in or if he's going to save them up for next round. Very likely we're going to see a next round, and so that conflict could certainly be a big deal. Just 1. See if you can squeeze some spice. Definitely worth it if you can. But Paul and Helena, you know, also might try to do that. We'll see what they end up doing. Paul with 1 agent left. I mean, we know Helena's going to be playing the power play. Or we think we know that. So that is a pretty safe troop. That's basically like almost guaranteed 3 spice for a troop there for Beast. So the same would be true for Paul. All right, goes to Hardy Warriors. Spends the water, gets the water back. How many troops are going in here? 3 troops going in here. Okay. So that suggests to me that there might be a gruesome sacrifice or what's the other one called? Harvest Cells or a staged incident. I guess, or it could also mean there's, you know, an allied armada and a private army and an ambush or something like that. All right, it is power play to fold space. Sokobe picks up that victory point, getting up to 8 points. 7-6-8-6 is the current score. Memnon reveals and bumps up that Bene Gesserit. Picks up the subject X137. Finds that Tleilaxu point and picks up the Lee Sin Algae because, hey, it's a spice. You might as well. You're never going to see any of these cards again anyway. Very likely. 9 cards in the deck. So, you know, you might as well give yourself a spice to use. 2 spice, 4 Solari, 2 water. And honestly, that could be a Cell Melange, which could be the economic positioning. Although, with the windfall, gets you to 6. I mean, a Carthag plus a secure contract would also do it, but that is 2 agents. Paul reveals 6. What does he go for? Good stuff here, but, you know, it's a bit late. And you're probably not going to see any of it. If Memnon can find a way to win the next conflict as well, that would be huge. But it's going to be tough. So, okay, Paul picks up the Guild Bankers. So as Friachi, the trouble is with these cards coming up, you're not going to be able to get your Freeman point. You're not going to get your Emperor point. All right, Helena reveals 10. Plus whatever else gets drawn with that Tleilaxu Master. So it's a Spice Must Flow for sure. No specimens to advance on Tleilaxu. Getting up to 9 points. We are playing to 11. Memnon going to get up to 9 points as well. Yeah, it's a tough round. I mean, you've got the spice for a selective breeding. Oh, Beast has an urgent mission. Okay, what's going to happen so urgently here? Plan coupling with experimentation to Imperial Basin. Draws a card, gets a spice. The research is also a card, so maybe going to find a Spice Must Flow. Valuing that 1 spice over an intrigue card from Secrets. It's the second time we've seen Plan Coupling played off of the Bene Gesserit spots, but does get Spice Must Flow. Gets the Emperor point. Beast now up to 9 as well. It's going to be a tight finish here. It's looking tough for Honeybee. But, you know, it's not over till it's over. It's anybody's game, that's for sure. Okay, it is a gruesome sacrifice for Paul. Finally finds that Tleilaxu point that's been just sitting there for so long. Also has the specimens for Reclaim Forces, but doesn't use it. Sitting on 4 specimens here. Friachi wins the battle for Carthag and gets up to 9 victory points. 9997 is the score going into round 8. I have a feeling this is going to be the last round of the game, and it's a battle for Arakeen. Paul with the Spice for Hayliner, Beast also with the Spice for Hayliner, on top of having a Garrison. So that's looking pretty good for Anjay. Does he have any fold spaces in the deck? Somebody has one. I think it might be Beast. Somebody has a space travel also. I think... Who has it? Paul, the last one to pick up a fold space, but I'm not sure if he's played it. No, Helena's the last one to pick up a fold space. Oh, that's right. Okay, so Helena's the one with the fold space in the deck. Can't remember who has the space travel. It was revealed last round. I remember seeing it. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. I have to remember that Shifting Allegiances as well. Okay, Beast is the one with the space travel. Ooh, but apparently doesn't have it. Goes to Arakeen to dig for it. Throws the troops in because why the hell not? It at least gives you an option to lose something to the Test of Humanity if you want to. Yeah, so Memnon with Gene Manipulation, Test of Humanity, and Bene Gesserit's sister. Everything here is a 2 persuasion card, but the problem with that is as soon as you start playing cards, your persuasion drops big. So could it be a research station for Friachi? I mean, it's not exactly a thrilling draw if you do. The research itself is not going to accomplish a whole lot for you. I mean, you can selective breeding, you can research. It's tough. It's tough. There's a victory point just sitting there and you can't get it. I mean, if he can he research all the way to here? No. No. Okay, what is this play here? Spice Hunter to Still Suits. Threatening Beast on the Freeman Alliance. Helena, if she has Shifting Allegiances, what could she do with it? I mean, she could threaten Paul or Beast. Okay, well, here it is. Let's see. Takobi sends the Shifting Allegiances to Imperial Basin and just takes the Freeman bump. Yeah, that seemed like the most likely option there. Getting up to 10 victory points. Throws a couple of troops in, and what does Friachi do here? I mean, this endgame point could be important. So, but doesn't have a card to get to Selma Lange. Goes to Research Station with the Test of Humanity. Draws Spice Must Flow and Convincing Argument. Playing this one first. Perhaps giving himself the option of playing this one later for Spice. Making everyone decide right now, are you discarding or are you losing a deployed troop? Maybe trying to find that experimentation to get to Selma Lange. So I would think that the next play, if it's possible, would be the Gene Manipulation. The Bene Gesserit's sister to selective breeding. to make sure you draw that experimentation. It lets you sell melange. You get a point that way. So you get a spice must flow to 10. This ends at 11 for you. I think you have a decent chance of moving to the final if that can happen. But selective breeding, not so easy to count on here. Okay, Beast decided to lose the troop. Didn't want to discard a card. That's interesting. Paul discards experimentation. Helena loses a troop as well. 2-point conflict, people dropping troops. So Spice Must Flow, obviously the big target for those players. Did Anjay find the space travel? Looks like maybe not. Mentat available. Rally troops available. I'm curious to see what that Solari was saved for, right? Beast opted not to do this. Would have been here with another intrigue card one step away from that point, which suggested there was some plan for that Solari. We haven't seen it yet. This conflict is going to make a big difference in terms of who's going to make it here to the final. If Honeybee can manage to win it, getting up to 9 points. Okay. Ooh, sends the dissecting kit to Mentat. That is painful. That is painful. I mean, it does get you the specimen. Still guard a Hardy Warriors. Honeybee steals the alliance from Anjay. That's a big deal. Anjay drops down to 8. Honeybee drops, goes up to 8. Throws some troops in here. Nobody has the Hayliner yet. I don't know if Paul has a way to get their diplomacy in the discard pile. Helena goes to Siege Tabor. Oh, this is going to be like a scrappy combat here. Does Friachi think he has a way to win it with the private army? Another Tleilaxu Master appears at the end. Helena drops off the power play with the ring. Friachi, is it the selective breeding to try to find the experimentation? Well, to find the experimentation, to sell Melange and try to get that endgame point, or does he see a way of maybe winning this? I mean, Beast with 1 intrigue card, Paul with 2, Helena with 2. You have potentially swords on the sister as well. And he's going for Carthag. Gene manipulation to Carthag here. Water Peddlers Union, probably not the intrigue you were looking for. Plays the Windfall. Throws in another troop. Oh, this is exciting. This is crazy. Now, does Paul or Beast, have they just been sitting on the Hayliner card, just like baiting the other players? I don't know. I think if Beast had it, he would have used it. But he did go to Mentat, so he might have drawn it at this point. That was a desperate play, sending the dissecting kit to Mentat there. I mean, it was a draw too, right? Because he grafted the experimentation with it. Did he find the space travel? No, but Stitched Horror plus Plan Coupling, I mean, that gets you here. The specimens will get you to the end, okay. And still as an agent, so can he find it this time? The problem is he's down to 5 spice, so even if he does find the space travel, it's going to be a little bit late. But that is a piece of good news, let's say, for Beast. Gonna find another intrigue card here, and looks like we'll be able to get to the end of the Tleilaxu track. One Bene Gesserit influence there. And we don't know what endgames people might be holding. Could there be a plans within plans on somebody? Could there be a corner of the market on somebody? Water again picked up for Beast. Plans within plans not active for anybody. Corner of the market would be active for Beast. Oh, Paul has to early reveal. I mean, has some swords there. The Death Commando could make the difference. Wow. Wow. Oh my god, this conflict. Oh my god, this conflict. So no Hayliner from Beast, no Hayliner from Paul. Is the Private Army going to decide it with the Bene Gesserit sister? Honestly, it could. No Hardy Warriors available for Helena. She could sneak into Carthag, though, get another troop and an intrigue card. The economic positioning, not viable. Memnon does still have another agent. So it's going to be a tough decision because 2 Persuasion gets you a Spice Must Flow for Memnon, but the 2 swords could win you this conflict. Oh, man. Helena hits up Haga Basin. Picks up Spice. Water Peddlers Union played for Memnon. I guess if it comes down to a water tiebreaker, that's the only reason I can see to play it now. Well, I guess because there's going to be another intrigue card picked up. Goes for the reveal. Takes the Persuasion. Picks up the Spice Must Flow. Gets up to 10. Oh my god. Beast. 1 agent remaining. What can be done here? There's nowhere to deploy. Just reveals, picks up a Spice Must Flow, gets up to 9. 10, 10, 9, 8. We're going to 11. If Beast, if anybody but Paul wins this conflict, the game is over. Beast finds that last Hylaxa point, gets up to 10. 10, 10, 10, 8. I'm ready for the combat screen here. Oh my god. 5 reveal for Helena. No Spice Must Flow. If we're looking at tiebreakers, you know, Beast has the most spice right now. What intrigues could there be? Vicious Talons comes out for Beast here. Gets up to 10 strength. The Private Army will be 11. Paul has a Private Army. Oh, if Paul wins this, we go to another round. Helena has Allied Armada. Takobe gets up to 13 strength. Oh my god. Private Army for Friachi gets him to 11. If he'd used the Sister for Swords, it would have been a tie. So that's going to be worth a different intrigue and 2 Solari. Only 2. All right, Takobe going to take battle for Arakeen, getting up to 12 victory points. Who is going to come in second right now? Beast has the Spice tiebreaker on Memnon, so it's looking like it's going to be Helena and Anjay, but let's see how things play out with the end games here. Plans within plans for Paul. I don't think that counts for anything. Corner of the market for Beast. He did have it. And there we go. Anjay actually comes out with the win thanks to that corner of the market. Anjay takes first place in this semifinal. Takobe coming in second. Anjay and Takobe are moving on to the final in the Bludge Bowl. What a game. What a game. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Friachi says 1 Solari short of second place. Is that true? I mean, 1 Solari would have gotten him to 11. So I don't think that is true. But wow, what a game. Great game to everybody. Congratulations to Anjay. Congratulations to Takobe. Good game to Friachi. Good game to Honeybee. It was a really well fought game. It was an exciting match. I hope you all enjoyed that game. I certainly did. I can't wait to see what these players bring to the final, but we are not done yet with the semifinals. The final semifinal, the second semifinal, the remaining semifinal is coming up right after this. We're going to find our last 2 players to get into the final. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with semifinal 2 of the BludgeBowl Immortality Tournament. Let me take a moment to shout out the newest member of the channel, Moonshadow. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I also want to say thank you to Curry and Karen DeWitt for joining the 1-year club. Your support means a lot. And of course, I always want to shout out my alliances, Nico Toso, The Separoni, Lee Martinez, and Filip Utkovich. If you would like to become a member to unlock exclusive content, perks, and to support stuff like this, click the join button down below for details. Well, there are now only 2 spots left in the final, but 4 players who want in. Competing in our last semifinal match are, from Game 1, Dinosaur. Party Warriors going for that first round victory point. Dissecting Kit picked up, uses the ring, reserves, Throne Room Politics. Selective breeding with the Reverend Mother. Everyone going to be discarding 2 cards right now. Wow, that hurts for Dinosaur. Discarding the Dissecting Kit and the Throne Room Politics. Reclaims for troops. Oh, and a rapid mobilization. Going to get up to 11 points. Dinosaur did get to 12. It was the Tleilaxu puppet. Dinosaur getting in there at the end. From Game 2, Kurt W. Baron has 5. Power play is a very good card to get. So Baron is going to win this conflict, getting a victory point. Harvest sells. He decides to go with the subject X137. Master Tactician played by Baron to retreat. Deciding 2 troops are worth more than 1 Master Tactician. Does pick up the Alliance. Bribery played and grabs the Guild Alliance. Reveals for 9. Picks up a Spice Must Flow. Baron gets the point there from the subject, getting that Tleilaxu point. Takes the battle for Imperial Basin, going up to 12 victory points. Kurt W takes first place from Game 3. Tony Triple F. Peter DeVries gets picked up here by Ilbon, and he does get the Stitched Horror as well as the Bennett Tleilax Researcher. Nice couple of pickups there. So all of a sudden, Tony is looking very good, and it's going to be 7-7, 7-8 after this conflict is won by Ilbon. How does he have 8 cards in hand? A Water of Life. Spice Must Flow for Ilbon, getting himself up to 10. Oh, Corner the Market, and Tony Triple F coming in second from Game 4. Okay, goodbye. It is an early reveal to the Tleilaxu Master being picked up, and Ilbon picks up the Carino Genes at the same time. Picks up Keys to Power. Okay, goodbye. Has to be considered the early favorite here. Ilbon wins the race to that Tleilaxu point, grafting the Unnatural Reflexes to the Carino Genes. Picks up Firm Grip. Wins battle for Imperial Basin. Gets 2 victory points, going up to 10 with 9 cards in hand. Manages to find a Spice Must Flow with that. Okay, goodbye. Taking the victory. Here we are in the last semifinal match. 2 more players are going to make it to the final. We've got Okay Goodbye in position 4, Dinosaur in position 3, Tony Triple F in position 2, and Kurt W in position 1. Ilbon has been picked immediately by Okay Goodbye. Let's take a look at the Imperium row. Power play, high priority travel, Gunthopter, Dissecting Kit, and Shadout Mapes with Scientific Breakthrough and a Slig Farmer in the Tleilaxu row. Leader select happened pretty quickly there. Let's take a look at what we've got. We are going to be watching this game from the perspective of Kurt W, who won his round 1 match playing the Baron, now switching to the opposite side of the political spectrum, playing Leto Atreides. Player 2 will be Tony Triple F playing the Baron. Tony in the round 1 played Ilbon and came in second place. Dinosaur here going to play Beast in position 4. Dinosaur played Helena in round 1 and came second place as well. So Kurt and Okay Goodbye here coming in with the wins. Dinosaur and Tony F qualifying second, but it makes no difference. First or second got you through. They all did what they had to do to get here. The question is, what are they going to do to make it one step further towards the final? Kurt here with the first action of this semifinal. Signet Ring, Seek Allies, 2 experimentations, and a convincing argument. The Skirmish, Victory Point, Water, and Spice. Okay, it's going to be Still Suits right away with that Seek Allies. And I would expect to see the ring second if anybody goes to a faction space. 1 troop in there for Kurt. Tony Triple F choosing his first agent. I'm going to hide this little chat window here. It's just there in case the players are talking and it's like I'm blocking them. But otherwise, it's kind of in the way. So I'm going to turn that off. Welcome to this live premiere of BludgeBowl 2. Thank you so much for being here in the chat here. If you're watching this live, then make sure you turn on the chat so you can see what everyone is saying and contribute yourself. If you are watching the VOD, welcome aboard. And to make the experience a little more fun, I do recommend you turning on that live chat. You can click the button down below that says show live chat or something like that. Here we go. So Baron went to secure contract with an experimentation. Beast sent the ring to Arakeen and is looking pretty strong to win this first conflict. A Hardy Warriors could still happen, but Beast has another agent to get more in. Ilbon goes to Wealth with a Seek Allies, and Kurt now does have the option to play the ring, gaining an Emperor influence that way. So I would kind of expect to see either a Haga Basin or a Great Flat here from Kurt. But we shall see. We shall see. So nobody set up for a round 1 Selmelange. Kurt could potentially set up for a round 2. The only person who could beat him to Selmelange would be Dinosaur if he happens to get third in this conflict, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. Actually, I take that back because Dinosaur still has another agent, so could pick up Spice from either Imperial or Haga Basin and potentially Selmelange next round. Doesn't play the ring. Doesn't play the ring. Plays the experimentation. So looking to get, I guess looking for the big Selmelange, the 3 Spice for the Swordmaster trade-in rather than that influence. You know, I think it's an interesting decision there. I'd be curious. Let's do a poll right now. Bludgeon, help me out. Make that poll in the chat here. What would you have done there? Would you have played the experimentation or would you have played the ring? I can see an argument either way. The experimentation, I mean, the research is also important. Let's not neglect the research there. And setting up for the larger Selmelange for hopefully the earlier Swordmaster. And, you know, there's a lot of game left. There's a lot of time left to potentially get that influence later with the ring. Beast goes to Hall of Oratory. So confident, either confident. Okay, Ilbon hits Mentat. I mean, Hardy Warriors is still there. So if Ilbon happened to find the diplomacy, that could happen. Leto reveals for 4. Presumably that's going to be a dissecting kit pickup. The question is, what's next? Is it Shit Out Mapes? Is it Liaison? Peter DeVries now in the row. Has 2 specimens, so could pick up a Slig Farmer here. Early Slig Farmer is pretty decent. Goes for the high priority travel. Okay, very exciting there. Scout is the new card in the row. High priority travel is an interesting card, and I think it's even more interesting without Rise of Ix because of the existence of rally troops. Allowing you to deploy off of rally troops potentially is pretty interesting. Kurt did take the Slig Farmer. Okay, so that's extra Solari generation. There's also that Solari on reveal here, not to be totally neglected. So Kurt looking pretty good as far as Tleilaxu progress goes already this game. 2 cards to help generate that early on. So definitely going to be targeting both victory points on the Tleilaxu track. This conflict is going to come down to whether Ilbon got the diplomacy and wants to do it here. Otherwise, Dinosaur going to walk away with a victory point. There's a nuke from Tony Triple F, who revealed with 4 persuasion. Is he happy with the results here? I mean, Spiritual Fervor is decent. I haven't seen anybody pick Duncan Idaho in a long time. It'd be fun to see it, but it is going to be the Spiritual Fervor for that research on buy, as well as the extra specimen generation on reveal. Replacement Eye is the new card there. Tony already making good progress on the research track. Does he pick up the subject X137 here? And he does. Yeah, already quite far along there. Has played experimentations as well as the Spiritual Fervor there. So nicely done. 5 reveal for Dinosaur, gladly picking up the replacement eyes, which is going to help get some cards trashed, and then later going to convert card trash and card draw, as well as converting to Laxu progress later. Okay, goodbye with the final agent here of round 1. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? It is going to be the Hardy Warriors. All right, I mean, that's a guaranteed win. Dinosaur is already revealed, so we know his strength is 7. No intrigue cards. There we go. 2 specimens revealed there for Ilbon. Nothing to pick up. We've got Gola and Scientific Breakthrough in the row. Ilbon going to walk away with the victory point. Okay, goodbye. Going to walk away with the early lead in the game. Beast going to pick up a second water. And Lito's troop going to, unfortunately, just walk away with nothing. Baron going to pick up a single spice, getting up to 3. So Baron actually set up for the Selmelange here right now. Would have to send the ring. Looks like he has a ring and a dagger in hand, so could get the Swordmaster. Sends the ring to Selmelange. Wait a minute. Yeah, can send the dagger to Swordmaster. Right. That's the way it has to go. Okay, so Baron set up here. Looks like didn't spend... Wait. Yes, did spend a Solari for the intrigue card on the Signet ring. You know, I'm assuming most of you know what these leaders do, but just a quick view. You can pause the video to look at their abilities. If you're not sure, we'll discuss them as they become, you know, relevant. All right. So that was the Selmelange from Baron, setting up for Swordmaster. Dinosaur into Still Suits. That's the 3rd water now for Beast. Ilbon went to Arakeen, and it's down to Leto here playing to Fold Space with the Diplomacy. Looking to get that faction access rolling into this game. Guildbank Raid is the conflict, so this is going to be very high demand right now. Everybody's still on the hunt for Solari. Baron grabs the Swordmaster, still has 2 Solari remaining. Not going to be as pressed about this. Here comes the Hardy Warriors for Dinosaur, which is going to be pretty helpful for winning this conflict, obviously. Gets the 2nd Freeman point, picking up the victory point there, unlocking Siege Tabor. Beast, of course, wants to get an alliance as soon as possible to power up the Signet ring, so currently Freeman is the track where he's got the most influence. Baron has that Master Stroke. We don't know what the factions are. Could be a mystery in this game. Looking forward to the decisive moment. I like that word, decisive. I've been using it a lot, I notice. Okay, Vicious Talents here picked up for Leto off of Carthag. Currently worth only 2, but could be powered up later by advancing along that research track. Deciding whether or not to deploy. Has 2 daggers. On the one hand, could certainly use some Solari. On the other hand, has the spice kind of ready for Selmelange there. We'll see if Kurt ends up regretting the decision not to use the ring there when he had the chance. Currently, there are 3 ring uses kind of sitting on the board. So is he going to have a chance to catch up to that? We will see. Throws in a troop, hoping to pick up the 2 Solari there. What is Baron going to do? Goes to Secrets. All right, so that's going to be 2 Solari. Maybe even tying Ilbon for the 4. No, it looks like Ilbon has 2 swords in hand. 2 daggers in hand, which means 2 swords. Beast reveals for 3 and picks up the Sardaukar Quartermaster. All right. I know Dinosaur does love combat. Loves swords, perhaps more than most on reveal. If he can get a graft, that's great for that. Otherwise, it's basically a Sardaukar infantry that has agent icons, which, I mean, that is a big difference. Having agent icons or not makes a big difference. Okay, goodbye. Picks up Test of Humanity. So has Sardaukar Legion and Test of Humanity now. Some decent pickups for okay, goodbye. Nobody picked up any super bombs just yet, but there definitely have been some good cards. Replacement Eyes for Dinosaur. The subject for Baron, I mean, it's pretty good considering he's already basically unlocked it. Liaison there for Kurt. who has the Dissecting Kit and the Slig Farmer. But no, like, huge bombs just yet. No Tleilaxu Master, you know, no Jessica. Nothing like that. Baron, gonna walk away with the Swordmaster here. First to Swordmaster in round 2, which you got to feel pretty good about. Beast's gonna get this victory, getting up to 7 Solari. Ilbon at 6, Leto at 2. Cloak and Dagger is the round 3 conflict. First agent action for Beast. If he picks up any Solari, he should be able to get Swordmaster this round, which I would imagine would be the goal. Both of these pretty interesting. The Scientific Breakthrough probably the more attractive option between these two at the moment, because it's early enough in the game that you'll have a chance to get some good research out of it and then maybe turn it into a victory point before the game ends. Beast grafts the experimentation to the replacement eyes, goes to secure contract, picks up the Solari, and trashes a dagger from the discard pile, I think. Okay, goodbye. I think getting, is that the first or the second? That's the second Mentat, right? Of the game for Ilbon. Using the ring to get there. 3 Spice sitting on Imperial Basin here. And Leto's not going to let that go. There's the first play of the Signet Ring. Let's see where he goes for the influence. Does he want to unlock Siege Tabor? Yes. The answer is yes. High priority travel not going to be active just yet. You need 2 guild influence for that. Leto's not going to be able to pick that up just yet. Probably going to look to play the experimentation as the second agent. The problem is there's actually nowhere it can go. No water means no Haga Basin or Great Flat. Secure contract is gone. And actually, as I say that, I realize the big target there is going to be Selma Land. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be what happens there. And that's probably going to be around 4 Swordmaster for Leto. Dinosaur presumably going to pick up the Swordmaster right now. There it is. Whoop, there it is, if I dare say. Benny Tleilax Researcher here in the Imperium row, by the way. Also a very good card, especially if you can get it early. Leto here is going to be the first to reveal by the looks of things, so probably will have the opportunity to grab that. Likely going to be sitting at 5 Persuasion, so could opt for a nuke to try to find something else, but that's pretty good. So the Harkonnens both have their Swordmasters here in round 3. Test of Humanity to Secrets for OK Goodbye. Let's see what everyone is willing to discard. It's kind of a painful decision for Kurt. Like, you don't really want to discard any of these. You probably have to discard the high priority travel just to maintain your 4 Persuasion and be able to pick that up. You're losing a Solari there, which is a little bit sad, but what else are you going to do? Baron loses a convincing argument. Oh, hello. Hello, Olivier René Lagotte. Lagotte. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. And if you're wondering why, you know, if you're watching this live and you're wondering why your notifications aren't popping up there, you know, if you're subscribing or becoming a member or whatever, it's because this game is pre-recorded. In order to maintain tournament integrity, the games are pre-recorded and then we air them as a live premiere so we can all watch them together without having to worry about, you know, how my commentary and observation might be affecting the game. The players don't know what I'm saying right now. All right, Kurt, I think it's got to be Selma Land, right? Yeah, the question is how much does he want to sell? Okay, he sells it all. Or no, he sells 4 of it. So hangs on to 1, which I think makes sense. 12 Solari, plenty for Leto. That pays for Swordmaster, that pays for High Council. Leto, of course, gets the discount on Landsrad spaces, so doesn't need as much Solari necessarily as the other players. Baron uses a Dispatch an Envoy Intrigue card to send an experimentation to Hardy Warriors. All right, we're going to find out where the Master Stroke is. What's it going to be? We're going to get the research first. We're going to be made to wait. Goes across the line there, picks up a Solari, gets the Freeman influence, gets that victory point, and it's going to be Guild and Freeman. All right, so, I mean, look, that's fine. You can still do it, okay? You don't have to do it, but you can. And he does. Dinosaur, with the final agent here of round 3, goes to Research Station with the Signet Ring, generating 1 troop, generating 1 Scarab, and drawing 2 cards. Might be looking for a nuke or something here. We'll see. Does have the 3 specimens. So looks like he's going to have the option of Scientific Breakthrough or Gola. I would expect to see the Breakthrough. The Gola is kind of interesting with the replacement eyes. Trash 2 cards, draw 2 cards. And if you trash both this and the Gola, you do get 2 Scarabs. So that's kind of interesting. The Gola with the ring can be interesting with Beast, especially if it's powered up. That's 4 troops generated that way. Obviously, Gola with experimentation is always okay. So, you know, I could see it. I would probably expect to see this, but there's an argument for that for sure. So I'll be interested to see how that goes. Okay, goodbye. Going to Carthag with a reconnaissance. Throws in a troop, picks up an intrigue card. And Kurt reveals. Decides to nuke. Doesn't want the researcher. That's interesting. Decides to nuke and gets a Bene Gesserit's sister. Okay. Okay. I mean, you've nuked for the other players as well. That's the downside of nuking there, is like you have a good card there and kind of nothing else that's that great. But, I mean, the sister is good, you know. You do need the Bene Gesserit influence, and Dinosaur does go with the Scientific Breakthrough. It also picks up a Freeman camp at the same time. So looking to make some things happen in that conflict. Hopefully, you know, from Dinosaur's point of view, you get to graft the replacement eyes to the Sardaukar Quartermaster to get the extra action there. We'll see if it ever happens. Okay, goodbye picks up the Gola as well as Keys to Power. Keys to Power already activated. Ilbon has the Emperor influence to unlock the spice on play there. Gola Test of Humanity, pretty funny. Gola Keys to Power, pretty good. So I like that pickup there for Okay Goodbye. Very interesting. And it's going to be Tony Triple F who walks away with the Cloak and Dagger. Let's see where he decides to take that influence. Probably going to take the Freeman Alliance here if I had to guess. And that is what happens. Also gets a bunch of intrigue cards. Beast picks up an intrigue card and a spice. And Ilbon takes an intrigue card. Desert Power is the round 4 conflict. 5 spice sitting on Great Flat. 4 spice sitting on Haga Basin. Tony the only one with any water right now, so expect Baron to probably hit up Haga Basin this round. Mentat for Okay Goodbye, taking advantage of every opportunity to get that card draw, deck cycling happening. Not interested in saving up the Solari for Swordmaster. And it's down to Kurt. Okay, draws the Slig Farmer and the Fold Space together, which is the best possible thing you can do. Because you've got 7 agent icons here on the Fold Space, which means you're going to generate 7 Solari with the Slig Farmer. So you can buy your Scarab and still have a couple of Solari left over. That's exactly what you want there. The rest of the hand, though, not exactly a thrill. Gonna send the Slig Farmer with the Fold Space to Fold Space, activating it, generating a Scarab. That second Guild influence there is going to unlock the high priority travel for the future, which is kind of interesting because that rally troops only costs 3 for Leto. So we'll see if we can get some interesting, you know, surprise deployments maybe out of that. But even just the card draw is valuable there. Baron plays the subject, gets the Scarab, and really made a good race along both Research and Tleilaxu, picking up the spice along the row there. Did it without a Tleilaxu Master. There's a Stitched Horror in the Imperium, or in the Tleilaxu row, by the way, along with the Usurp. As cool as Usurp is, I don't expect anyone to pick that up. But I would expect somebody to pick up the Stitched Horror if they can, although it's probably going to be a little while. So by the time it's possible, it may or may not be worth doing for somebody. We'll see. There's the breakthrough already to Arcane. Let's see which way Dinosaur decides to go with the research. Does he want the trash? Does he want the flexibility of this area? He wants the flexibility as well as the speed, which makes sense with that scientific breakthrough. You really want to make sure you get to the end of the research track so you're able to convert it into a victory point later in the game. Picks up an intrigue card as well. Okay, goodbye. Still suits with a diplomacy. Getting that victory point from the Freeman track, unlocking Siege Tabor, and throws both troops in there. Kurt now has the diplomacy. So, oh yeah, don't forget Swordmaster. Don't forget Swordmaster. Right. But the diplomacy going to be able to get to secrets or wealth, probably. Okay, Baron hits up Hayliner here, getting the guild point as well as likely winning this desert power conflict for another point and a water that would rocket Baron up to 6 points in round 4. All right, it's time for the poll. Round 4, who are you betting on to win this game? Who do you think is going to take first in this semi-final match? Is it Baron, played by Tony? Is it Beast, played by Dinosaur? Is it Ilbon, played by OK Goodbye? Or is it Leto, played by Kurt W? You've got about a minute to answer that poll. Okay, Dinosaur goes to secrets with the diplomacy. Final agent here for Ilbon. Spice really piling up here. There is water in the conflict, but Leto's going to be going first, and he will not have 2 water. So that means Baron can pick up 6 spice on Great Flat next round. That feels pretty good. Oh, Gola Sadakar Legion also. I didn't even think about that one. So that's 4 troops generated on wealth. Okay, goodbye now. On his way to the Emperor Alliance. No one else has any influence with the Emperor at all. Wow, I like that a lot. I really like that a lot. Love to see some good Gola action here. So unfortunately, actually, the diplomacy not playable. Both secrets and wealth got taken. So Kurt decides to just pick up High Council. You know, it's all right. It's good to have High Council seat, but you'd probably rather get your diplomacy played. Unfortunately, just not an option. Has a dispatch and envoy intrigue here as well for the future. The vicious talents, not yet powered up. All right, Baron takes an influence from the research track. Decides to take it with Emperor. So not prioritizing the scarabs, which I think seems reasonable. He already has this one. Maybe he can get the other one anyway with the double scarab here plus a reclaim forces. I can't remember if he has any other cards to generate. Oh yeah, he does. He's got the subject. So, right. That influence makes a lot of sense. Beast Signet Ring to Carthag. Now up to 3 intrigue cards. Deployed 1 troop there. I'm thinking Beast probably has that Sardaukar guy in hand for a couple of swords. Ilbon reveals for 3. I don't know if you take... I don't think you take the Death Commando. The question is, do you want a liaison or not? But to me, it seems like that is the question. And it looks like he says, nope. I just want to keep drawing my Gola combos. All right, Leto reveals 5, but doesn't have a nuke anymore. Does he want another high priority travel? I mean, it's kind of fun, but I'm not sure if it's that great. Goes for the Doctor. Yeah, that's an interesting pickup. And reveals Imperium Ceremony. Huh. Picks up a liaison as well. Okay, so drawing cards on cities. Careful, Leto. I don't know if I should. I don't know if you should trust that guy. All right, Baron reveals for 3, takes a liaison. How are we doing on liaisons? Only 4 left. Half the liaisons have been picked up. 6 reveal for Dinosaur. Happy to grab that Imperium Ceremony and save that nuke for another day. I mean, yeah, if there's an Imperium Ceremony, I think you take it at this point. Oh, the greed play from Baron uses the gruesome sacrifice, dropping to 8 strength. That must mean he has combat intrigues to back that up. Yeah, Beast playing the tiebreaker now. Ilbon? Ilbon says no thanks. Baron? He must. Okay, Master Tactician. Does Beast have anything else? No. Wow. Oh, I love when people do that, man. And especially when you get away with it. Definitely worth it for Dinosaur to play that tiebreaker there. You know, the tiebreaker just clogging up your hand for so much of the game, you might as well, you know, pull out, you know, trade it for a better intrigue from Baron. But well done by Tony there. Yeah, he's going to have no trouble hitting the end of that track. Up to 6 points. Wait. Has 1 water. Why did I think Baron was going to be up to 2 water? Did he spend water last round that I missed? Okay, well, nobody has 2 water right now. I mean, oh, the Great Flat got picked up last round. Okay, never mind. Never you mind. All right, raid stockpiles is the conflict here in round 5. So a bunch of spice and an intrigue card. It's over to Kurt. The dissecting kit is not online, unfortunately, and doesn't have a great trash target. I mean, you can trash a reconnaissance. But that's a little bit sad. Okay, experimentation to Imperial Basin. Yeah, grab a couple of spice. I think that's kind of the best move you have at the moment. Tony with the specimens might be able to pick up this Stitched Horror, although honestly it's like not even really that great for Baron. Like he doesn't need the scarabs, so I wonder if he's just gonna end up reclaiming for troops. Probably you still reclaim just to make sure you get there, you know, like you don't want to fuck around, and you know, the sooner you get your points, the better chance you have of maybe closing the game early. But sometimes reclaiming for troops can be worth it. All right, so Tony deciding what to do here. 5 spice, 3 Solari, 1 water. Kurt, the only one with a high council so far in the game. Okay, goodbye. The only one without a Swordmaster. Baron goes to Wealth, grabbing that Emperor Influence and a couple of Solari to go with it. So, does have the means of picking up a High Council or a Rally Troops. Dinosaur. Going to Mentat, potentially just to deny it from Ilbon. Okay, goodbye. Gonna feel a little bit sad about that, potentially. By the way, you can watch Dinosaur's own point of view of his BludgeBowl matches. You can check out his round 1 match on his channel, and I imagine that his round 2 match will be coming out shortly after this live premiere. Semifinal, I guess I should say. This game, I mean. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, what are you going to do? You probably really wanted that Mentat, but it's not happening. Goes to secure contract. Okay, so going to go for the Swordmaster instead. I mean, maybe he was going to do it anyway. But hard to feel too bad about that. Oh, I can't Mentat? All right, how about I get Swordmaster and draw a card too? Lido using the Dispatch and Envoy with the ring. Potentially getting a double bump. I love the way that looks. Okay, goes to Fold Space. So can't double bump the Fold Space. Ring Influence either Emperor or Bene Gesserit. Or Freeman, I guess. But goes with the Bene Gesserit. And then I guess we're going to see the Dissecting Kit to trash the Reconnaissance. Subject to High Council for Baron. Tony really speed running this game at the moment, but sometimes that happens, right? We've all been in many games where a Baron just goes boop, 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 gets a bunch of victory points, and then it can plateau. So he has one more kind of easy point off the Bene Gesserit, and then beyond that, I guess he's also got this kind of easy points. I mean, he's kind of looking at 9 points pretty quickly. Dinosaur with the grafted replacement eyes experimentation. To Imperial Basin. Throws in 3 troops, so looking to pick up some spice, potentially to set up a Hayliner maybe for the future rounds. Keys to Power to Swordmaster. Okay, goodbye. Getting a couple of spice off of that. It seems to be a theme in this BludgeBowl tournament is Ilbon's sending Keys to Power to Landsrad spaces. In fact, it was OK Goodbye who played Ilbon in round 1. So this is the second Ilbon game in a row for OK Goodbye. And I think it was OK Goodbye who did that same Keys to Power play before. Or it might have been Tony. Tony and OK Goodbye were the 2 Ilbon players in round 1. Yeah, so it was the Dissecting Kit with the Reconnaissance. To Carthag, draws it to the victor. Baron sends the ring to Arakeen, doesn't have the Solari to pay for the Intrigue card. Does he go in here for a spice, or do you just hold on to it? Just hold on to the troop. Dinosaur, 2 agents left. Dinosaur, OK Goodbye, the only players with nukes remaining in this game. It's great flat with a Freeman camp. How many of those troops go into this conflict right now? 1. Yep. That's probably going to win you the conflict. I mean, is Ilbon heavily investing in like a hardy warriors here for this? Probably not. And that leaves Dinosaur on still enough spice to get to Hayliner, whether he gets first or second in the coming round. Selective breeding from Ilbon with a test of humanity. Kurt's going to have to decide whether to lose the 1 troop or the convincing argument. I mean, probably the convincing argument. I'm not sure what you're too thrilled about here. With that situation, there's a victory point for OK Goodbye. Current score 7 for Baron, 5 for Ilbon, 3 for Lido, 2 for Beast, but it is still early in the game. Still early in the game. Beast with 1, 2, 3 victory points still on the faction tracks. Lido with 2 victory points still on the faction tracks. Lido loses a deployed troop, says that's fine. I mean, Beast loses a deployed troop there rather than discarding a card. Curious to see what he ends up with. So he's got something he wants with those cards in hand. Maybe, I mean, still an agent left as well. Baron reveals 5, no nuke though. Has the specimens and does take the Stitched Horror. And I think is able to put that on top of the deck. And does indeed. So he really doesn't need that. I mean, he's guaranteed to get that Tleilaxu point next round. But the Stitched Horror also can generate a troop or can generate a water, so it's still good. Even if you don't need the Scarab. Dinosaur getting the research. And that's it. Some Melange play. That's interesting. Decides to take Bene Gesserit influence there, getting up to 3 points. So what is that Solari for? Could be for a High Council, could be for a rallied troops. You know, could be for the double Scarabs. Could be for a Chome Shares. Could be for all kinds of things. Okay, goodbye. About to reveal. Let's see what he's got. 6. Does he want Worm Riders? No. Nukes the row. Pretty interesting options. Long Reach, Sardaukar Legion, Clandestine Meeting, Liat Kynes, Firm Grip. Remember, Okay Goodbye has a Gola. So Gola Long Reach is a possibility. How much would that be worth? I mean, it could be worth something. There's not that much time left in the game, but that's an interesting decision. Liat Kynes, obviously, I mean, that gets him the Emperor Alliance right now. Doesn't have a bunch of other Freeman cards. The Firm Grip, also interesting. He's about to get an Emperor Alliance. That could be used for influence. It could be used for persuasion. I mean, the Gola Clandestine Meeting also pretty good, but you have to get the Gola to make it good, whereas these other cards are potentially good. Anyway, what an exciting decision here. And Okay Goodbye decides to take the Liat Kynes. Let me know in the chat what you would have picked there. What would you have picked there if you were Okay Goodbye? I think the Liat Kynes is a very reasonable call, but there were a lot of interesting options there. He had 4 cards left in the deck, potentially only a couple of rounds left. For the Long Reach to be worth it, you would really have to get it with the Gola. And he does already have some interesting Gola targets. The Firm Grip, interesting, but I think the Liat Kynes does make sense. Gola Liat Kynes doesn't do anything. But it is a good card. But yeah, he doesn't really have the Freeman cards to combo with it. All right, Beast's going to win this conflict. Leto going to get a nice, cheap 2 spice for 1 troop. Beast actually not going to have the spice for Hayliner just yet, but has a Demand Respect. Okay. Jumps up, taking the Bene Gesserit Alliance, getting another Intrigue card at the same time, going up to 4 points. Nice there for Dinosaur, winning that conflict and getting the spice to pay for that Demand Respect at the same time. Full up on intrigues. We've got 2 intrigues on Baron, 3 intrigues on Beast, 3 intrigues on Ilbon, 2 intrigues on Leto. Kurt here looking like to have a lot of persuasion this round. Dr. Yeda, Arrakeen would be a couple of card draws. Has the high priority travel, and this could be the round where we get the high priority travel to rally troops for the big deployment, winning a victory point here. This could be interesting. You know, you do want to win a conflict. So going to be keeping our eyes on that. Tony with the first agent of round 6. Victory point leader with 7. Ilbon close behind with 6. Baron going to get to 8. Questioning what to do with that Stitched Horror that's now sitting in hand. All right, it's going to go with the Imperial Basin. It's going to go with the Experimentation, rather, to Imperial Basin. That gets Baron up to 6. Potentially looking at a Hayliner here, trashing a Reconnaissance. So the Stitched Horror. Looks like he chose the trash on the Stitched Horror and the water. Didn't take the Scarab. Doesn't need it. Trashing 2 cards, taking water. So Baron's sitting at 6 spice, 2 water. Those are key resource breakpoints there. Dinosaur hits up Mentat. Okay, goodbye. Didn't have the Solari for it anyway, so that's not a denial play. All right, moves up the Tleilaxu track by using an Intrigue card there. That was the scientific breakthrough sent to Mentat. I wonder why that intrigue card was played. He wasn't in danger of going over. It didn't get him anything immediately. All right, over to okay, goodbye now. 1 spice, 1 water. Big garrison. A lot of troops in the garrison, so this would be a potential opportunity for okay, goodbye to just deploy off of cities, try to win the conflict that way. Does need guild influence. Is way behind on research and Tleilaxu progress. Okay, so there we go. There's the guild influence, diplomacy to fold space to get moving on that and hopefully pick that up before the end of the game. Yep, it is Dr. Yeda Arakeen. So that's a draw 2, as well as the opportunity to deploy. Gets diplomacy and experimentation. Pretty nice pickups here. Throws in 1 troop for now. Has to consider, you know, is it around to pick up Spice Must Flow? Reclaimed Forces probably going to be chosen to get that victory point. So you probably want to play the diplomacy, and you probably want to play the high priority travel. The question is, it could be a great conflict to win. Maybe it's diplomacy to selective breeding, and then high priority travel to rally troops to just slam in. All right, there's Baron with his final Tleilaxu point. Tony Triple F getting it just with the research station. So managing those resources really efficiently, not taking extra scarabs that he didn't need to. Still suits for Dinosaur, getting up to 2 water. Sorry, 1 water. Throwing in 1 troop. Okay, goodbye with the big garrison, but hasn't deployed anything yet. There is still that 6 spice looming on Baron. So Kurt will be able to wait to see. Potentially playing the diplomacy first, let's say to secrets. And then if Baron goes to Hayliner, you can see if you think you can beat it with the high priority travel. You probably can't. Look at these troops. Oh my god. The Gola to Sardaukar Legion playing to a city is really quite a stunt. Because you generate 4 troops and you can deploy them. So forget about Baron's Hayliner, forget about Leto's high priority travel. It's okay goodbyes Gola Sardaukar legions slamming into Carthag here that's looking to take the siege of Arakeen. It is going to be the selective breeding for Kurt. Deciding what to trash, no really good options. Just trashes the Dr. UF from play. Keeping the daggers in hand for now. Could have trashed a dagger out of hand. Okay, draws the sister, so Spice Must Flow looking pretty good. Baron to Hall of Oratory, not getting into this conflict at all, but set up for the round 7 Hayliner. Beast sends the Brutality Ring to Haga Basin, setting himself up for Hayliner, and he will have the first action next round. The question is, will he draw a card to get there? Probably. Well, I don't know about probably, but he has a good chance at it. And Ilbon just has to reveal just a convincing argument, and dagger in hand picks up a liaison, and that's that. But, you know, you got to be pretty happy with the likely combat win at least. It's a Siege of Arakeen as well, so that could give you a defensive troop for the future if there's a battle for Arakeen. Still has a decent garrison. Going into next round. Oh, I love the goalless at Okkar Legion. All right, Kurt. What are you doing here? All right, well, this reveals for 2 persuasion getting you to 10, so you could still play the high priority travel to rally troops just to get a garrison. And you'd still be all right. I don't know if you actually want to draw a card on it. But I don't really think you want to be deploying on it either. All right, let's see. So he does go to rally troops. Oh! Wait a minute now. Leto gonna challenge. Leto gonna challenge okay goodbye. I mean, we know he doesn't have swords. He does have 3 intrigues. Leto, look at the swords on Kurt. Dagger, dagger, sister for 2, vicious talents for only 2, unfortunately. Okay, but he's at 14, 15, 16, 18, 20 strength potentially, but it's Hayliner from Dinosaur. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Wait a minute now. I was totally counting Beast out of this conflict. I was thinking he was going to save that for next round, but he says, no, I think I might just do it now. Only throws in 3 troops, though. Okay. Still thinking about it. All right. All right, so he's just banking those troops for next round, getting the 2 water for research station potentially in the future. Oh, Leto's getting greedy here, taking the persuasion for the guaranteed point on Spice Must Flow. I think that is actually a pretty good idea. See if you can squeeze it out with this. I mean, Ilbon might not have any combat intrigues. He doesn't have Spice to pay for any good ones. Leto gets the Tleilaxu point at the same time. Beast uses the nuke. That's the last nuke of the game. He had 3 persuasion. I mean, you got space travel or planned coupling or voice or Imperial spy. I mean, all potentially interesting. I don't think he wants the spy at this point. It might just be voice. The planned coupling, maybe not necessary. It also may be nothing. Okay, goes for the space travel. Goes for the space travel. I mean, he does need that guild point. Beast plays an economic positioning, retreating a couple of troops to gain more Solari here. And is going to gain some Solari there. Okay, interesting. So sacrificing the potential of an endgame point in order to just pile that garrison in. Has a couple of intrigues. Could that be a rapid mobilization for the future? Leto wins it off the swords, doesn't even have to play the intrigue. Oh my goodness, Kurt W coming out with the win here in Siege of Arakeen and going up to 7 points, as well as being able to cash in the to the victor, getting up to 5 spice, and it's battle for Carthag here in round 7. Nobody controls Carthag, nobody gets the defensive troop. Dinosaur first to act this round. Baron with the spice for a Hayliner and the garrison to back it up. If he wins this conflict, it's going to be game over. Ilbon, 4 troops in the garrison. Beast, 8 troops in the garrison. It sort of feels like a rapid mobilization is there, but you never know. Leto again gets the Slig Farmer Fold Space combo. Not sure if it's going to make a major difference. All right, Dinosaur plays the Breakthrough Intrigue. Going south here for the double Scarab play, getting another Intrigue card. So, yeah, I think that he knew he was going this way, and that's where his Solari was going to be going. And therefore, he was never going to have enough Solari to pay or to activate the endgame economic positioning. And so you might as well save some troops and get some extra Solari for it. All right, Scientific Breakthrough cashed in for the victory point there. Up to 6 for Dinosaur. Current score, Baron with 9, Leto with 7, Beast and Ilbon both with 6. Only 2 will move on from this game and go to the final. Ilbon gets his Mentat for the first time in a few rounds. Must feel happy about that situation. Beast really going to be threatening this conflict, I have to feel. But we'll see if Baron has the means of getting to Hayliner. There's a fruit fly buzzing around my face right now. There's an alliance sitting there for Leto if he wants it as well. I mean, you're gonna want that point, I think. It doesn't feel great to just go to fold space. I mean, you get a whole bunch of Solari, which whatever. There's the fold space. Where's it going? Fold space to fold space, not grafting the Slig Farmer. Not grafting the Slig Farmer, prioritizing the just the Persuasion reveal, I think. I think that makes sense. You're not going to get anything out of that Scarab. And you just want to give yourself a chance at Spice Must Flow. So you get your point there. You can, you know, send your dagger to Hall of Oratory and just reveal for a Spice Must Flow. That might be the play. Baron goes to Selected Breeding. Okay, no Hayliner coming in from Baron. But that is worth a victory point. The card draws could be worth another one. Baron up to 10. Beast looking good for the conflict. I think has to win this conflict to have a chance of moving on. Imperial Basin is a card draw, as well as a chance to deploy a couple of more troops, and in they go. I got the fruit fly, by the way. I love these games, man. I love Dune Imperium. I love this format. I love these players. Everyone is bringing it. It's giving me a lot to talk about. I hope you're enjoying this. Make sure you're here again tomorrow for the live premiere of the final of the Bludge Bowl. 9 a.m. Eastern time for the live premiere. After the game is over, I will go live with a stream where we'll play some Dune. We'll talk about the Bludge Bowl. It's going to be a great time. Test of Humanity, played by OK Goodbye to Siege Tabber. And everyone's going to have to discard now. Ooh, that hurts. That really hurts Kurt's chances of getting a Spice Must Flow. That really hurts because, you know, you discard the dagger and now you can't get a Spice Must Flow off Hall of Oratory. All right, so that's going to shift the plans there. A Test of Humanity really can make a difference. Baron also discarding a dagger. Okay, Beast losing a troop. Confident there. And really prioritizing keeping cards in hand. It's one of two things. It's either confidence or it's resignation. But either way, prioritizing the cards in hand. He has 8 cards in hand. And it seems like he needs every single one of them to get a Spice Must Flow here. What does Kurt do? The experimentation can only go to secure contract. I mean, he's really limited with these cards. Basically, he's got Rally Troops, Hall of Oratory, or Secure Contract to play to. The research, you know, the research, I guess, gets him here. You're hoping for another round. You might get it. It's not looking like Baron's going to win this conflict. Can he get another victory point? I mean, he has all his influence points. He has his Tleilaxu points. Is he getting Spice Must Flow? Kind of doubtful. So I think we are likely looking at a round 8. You never know. It could be a Sleeper Must Awaken here on Tony. If Beast rapid mobilizes here, this gets him to 8. A Spice Must Flow would be 9. He's got a victory point to pick up with the guild, which he can't do. He can get closer on Emperor. He's almost at the end here, but doesn't have the specimens to make that happen. All right, it's Sleek Farmer and Liaison to Arakeen. Generating a couple of Solari, drawing a dagger. It does decide to spend it on the Scarab. Doesn't play the research. Gets a troop in, but we'll see what happens there. Baron gets the Carthag with the Stitched Horror grafted to a Liaison. Probably going to take a troop and a water. Yep. I mean, you might as well go all in, right? Yeah. Goes all in here. Hall of Oratory. Okay, there's a couple more troops. It's rapid mobilization if I've ever seen one. It has to be. It has to be. I mean, he didn't have anywhere else to play the ring. Okay. This could be the final round, but also it might not be. I really don't think Baron's finding another point unless he has Sleeper Must Awaken. Hardy Warriors here with the Liet Kynes for Ilbon. So Ilbon basically saying, you know, maybe he has rapid mobilization, but if not, I'm going to try to win this. I think that's the right call, even though it seems almost certain, but you never know. You never know for sure. Sometimes people do things and it really looks like they have a rapid mobilization and they just don't. All right, the experimentation does get played after all to secure contract. So Leto getting some Solari. And, you know, if there is another round, maybe that influence gets him the Emperor point. At least the Vicious Talents is powered up, but that one troop is unfortunately going to feel pretty sad here. All right, Tony. One agent remaining. What can you do with it? You know, people are very close to his Freeman Alliance here, but nobody has any kind of double bump. Like, I'm pretty sure there are no power plays. There's obviously no treachery. That's a Rise of Ix card. There's no shifting allegiances. It would come down to intrigues or a grand vision if there's another round. Okay, reveals 5. Picks up a voice. I mean, voice can be a big deal. It's persuasion at least, but sometimes it makes something interesting happen. Do you take anything else here? I don't know. Is there an allied armada and a private army on Baron to steal this? Let's see the rapid mobilization. 10 reveal, 3 swords, make that 5 swords, picks up the Spice Must Flow, and... the suspense here. The suspense here. Does he have it or not? Come on, man. Oh my God. Is it there? It's there. It's there. Throws it all in, making us all wait. Hyping up the tension. The crowd with bated breath. Maybe he has it. Maybe he does. But does he not have it? He has it, my friends. Throws everything in. 25 strength. That honestly could be what pushes Dinosaur into the final here. But I think we are going to another round. So it's going to be tight. There are 3 intrigue cards on Ilbon. He has an agent left. But there's nowhere to really get more troops in. Now, if he can get to Still Suits, he could potentially steal that alliance by going first next round. If he has a card to get there. I mean, he's going to reshuffle, but I don't think he has another card to get there. The Get Kinds, I think, was it. 5 Solari could be a High Council. Okay, Keys to Power to Secrets. Generates a couple spice. Gets a 4th Intrigue card. Will be going first. Can manage that Secret of the Sisterhood to jump up. Does he have another way of doing it? We'll be going first next round. Potentially can steal it at that point. Favored Subject coming out as well. Okay, just protects the Emperor influence. Ilbon's going first next round. And, you know, is about to reshuffle. If he finds Diplomacy or Test of Humanity or Keys to Power, he can take that alliance away from Beast. Leto decides to pick up the Imperial Spy, which kind of makes sense because he does need an Emperor influence, although 10 cards in the deck, you're probably never going to see it. 3 reveal for Ilbon. 2 specimens. Takes a liaison. I wonder about that. You really need to draw one of those Bene Gesserit cards. On the other hand, you're probably going to need a Spice Must Flow. All right, Dinosaur going to take battle for Carthag. Ilbon going to come in second. Okay, Goodbye going to pick up 3 Spice and an Intrigue. That also means a Hayliner is possible for Okay Goodbye, which would be worth 1 point here, plus whatever is sitting in the conflict, which could be a Grand Vision, could be a battle for Imperial Basin. Okay, has a Harvest Cells here. What does that do? Well, pushes them up a little bit. Getting another Intrigue card, you might as well do it. Obviously. Unlikely to get that final Talaxu point. Battle for Imperial Basin is what it is. No one has control of it. What did Okay Goodbye draw? And does he have to choose now between Hayliner and stealing the Bene Gesserit Alliance? And if so, what choice do you make? Baron sitting on 7 Spice as well. Gonna be looking to Hayliner if he can. If Ilbon can't or doesn't. Diplomacy in the discard pile. Does he have anything else to get there? We don't know. Keys to Power to Hayliner. Here comes Okay Goodbye. Gonna try to win this battle for Imperial Basin. 1 point comes off the guild track. 2 Spice comes from the Keys to Power. But it's a pretty weak Hayliner. Only 5 troops. No garrison to back it up. There's a vulnerability there. Could have taken the Bene Gesserit Alliance. Could have gone to selective breeding. Decides to go for this. We'll see how that pans out. All right. What would you have done? In the chat, let me know. Would you have gone to take the Bene Gesserit Alliance, or would you have gone to Hayliner? Let us know in the poll right now, Bludgeon. Hook us up. Hook us up, dude. Now, as for Kurt, sends a liaison to the Mentat. With that dissecting kit, does he actually have a chance? He needs an experimentation to have a chance at that final point. Baron goes to Siege Tabor. Throws in some troops there. Beast. Evaluating the options. This is a tight game. I don't know how this is going to end. Yeah, okay. Reinforces the Bene Gesserit Alliance here and also steals an Intrigue card at the same time. From Ilbon. I wonder what that was. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, Goodbye says ... Turn the chat on. Okay, Goodbye says ... Uh-oh, what was it? Well, that was dangerous. Dangerous to leave that there. Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, very tough decision to make there. Because, I mean, taking the Alliance... Okay, yeah, he's kind of locked into doing this now. He has to win this conflict at all costs. Does he have a way of getting... I mean, if he's reshuffled the Liet Kynes, potentially he could also take the Freeman Alliance away from Tony? All right, Kurt has Fold Space, Bene Gesserit, Sister, and Diplomacy. Selective breeding could be good. It could, I mean, it's a draw 3. Experimentation means you'd be able to get a Tleilaxu point, probably. Combined with that dissecting kit. The ring plus a diplomacy to wealth means you might be able to get that point. There's a lot of things, but there's only so many agents. So I'm just still thinking about this decision. It was a really interesting decision, and I don't know which way was right. But the Bene Gesserit play is kind of playing for second because you're leaving the Hayliner for Baron. But playing for second can get you into the final. I mean, it is a 2-point swing for second. This is also 2 points. Okay, so Kurt decided to send the Fold Space to selective reading, did get the draw 3, did get the experimentation. Did not get the ring. High priority travel would be a draw. Okay, so experimentation for a Scarab. Reveal the dissecting kit for another Scarab. That gets you to 9. And then if you can, like, high priority travel to Hall of Oratory, draw a card. Actually, you've got Persuasion on the Sister already. So you're probably getting a Spice Must Flow. You're probably getting to 10. Dinosaur plays Imperium Ceremony to Fold Space, picks up a victory point there, gets to 10, gets to choose an intrigue card. 10 and 10 for their Harkonnens. All right, what can Ilbon do here? If he does win, which looks likely, he gets to 9. Can he get another point any other way? Not really. If Leto ends at 10, he loses the Spice tiebreaker to Baron if Baron ends at 10. Dinosaur with Know Their Ways. Just to get rid of it, I guess, and also just freak everybody out. Can Ilbon get 2 still suits? That would be the only other point available, I think, right now. And he can. And he can. We're going to give a cheer, not because we're rooting for Ilbon, but just because it is exciting. All right, Alliance stolen now. Tony drops to 9. Okay, Goodbye goes up to 8, leaving Dinosaur in the lead currently with 10. Is this going to be another kind of come from behind qualification for Dinosaur, who had sort of a slow start in round 1, but ended up sneaking in with a second place game on Helena? Wow. Wow. 3 agents sent to faction spaces here for Ilbon. Now for Leto, who has 2 agents remaining. Let's say, I mean, you can send Diplomacy to Wealth. The problem is the game, I mean, the game might not end this round. We might go to round 9 here. Because if Ilbon wins, he gets to 10. Baron's down to 9. If he gets a Spice Must Flow, he goes up to 10. Is Dinosaur going to be picking up a Spice Must Flow? It doesn't look super likely. Doesn't have a High Council seat. He might be getting to 11 with the Tleilaxu, though. Well, I don't know, actually. I don't know. It's possible. All right, there's the experimentation play. Yeah, I think you have to make that play. Picks up a counterattack intrigue. Unfortunately, kind of a dead draw. And Baron does get a Spice Must Flow there. Getting him back up to 10 points. Sitting on a lot of spice for... Okay, replacement eyes. So Dinosaur is going to get to 11 here. So this will be the final round. The question is, how is it all going to shake out? There could be endgames out there. Could there still be more Spice Must Flows for everybody else? There's the 11 points. Ilbon wins this, gets to 10. I think that's the ceiling for the round, unless there's something else going on. Just reveals. I mean, has to reveal. Has a reinforcements, decides to just play it to make sure. Fair enough. The only reason not to play it is for a Solari tiebreaker. That'd be heartbreaking if somehow that ended up mattering. Also, I mean, there could be a staged incident, theoretically. So, Kurt's final deck is Signet Ring. So, I mean, you're sitting at 9 right now. So you play the high priority travel and draw a card. Goes to rally troops. Yeah, you might as well get in there for the Spice tiebreaker. That's a good play. Because that Spice tiebreaker, honestly, might be the difference between Lido and Baron. Oh, Sleeper Must Awaken as well on Beast. Gets up to 12. I think that's going to cement Dinosaur's spot in the final. The question is it going to be Tony Triple F or Kurt W who gets that final spot in the grand final of the Bludge Bowl? Right, you need to draw the card off the high priority travel. So the counterattack gets the troops in for more spice, which still could be the difference. That'd be 8 spice versus 7. Spice Must Flow picked up, Dissecting Kit activated, and it's 10 points for the head of House Atreides. What does Baron have in the intrigue cards? Wait a minute. No, Baron's going to get 5 spice here. It's going to be Baron. Except, let's not forget Vicious Talents to get him ahead. Does Baron have anything to get ahead here? The fighting for the spice tiebreaker in the ambush is going to seal the deal. That is going to do it. I don't think anything can change the result at this point. Okay, Goodbye wins the battle for Imperial Basin, gets up to 10 points, but is going to lose on Spice tiebreakers. Baron has plans within plans, but it isn't active. Dinosaur wins first place in the semifinal, gets through to the final. Tony Triple F gets through on the Baron, winning on the Spice tiebreaker against both Kurt and Okay Goodbye. All 3 of them ended on 10 victory points, and it's going to be Dinosaur and Tony Triple F moving on to the final of the BludgeBowl Immortality Tournament. Great game, very exciting, very unpredictable, very suspenseful. I didn't know how that was going to end. Thank you to everybody for participating, and thank you for watching. Make sure you are here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern for the live premiere of the final. Who is going to walk away Bludge Bowl champion? I just can't wait to find out. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Click that notification bell. Click the like button, by the way. And if you'd like to support content like this and get extra stuff just for you, consider becoming a member of the channel. Click the join button down below for details on that. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow for the final. Special thanks to my alliances, Nico Toso, The Separoni, Lee Martinez, and Filip Utkovich.